Timos. I am from Czech Republic. I find show on the YouTube and laugh so much. I not always agree with James, but both very funny. I tell everybody you American friends now. Love show, but question for you. Disney people call slope. People call it slope, and I no understand because Disney always have good and bad stuff from movies and shows, and you have Mulan 2, Cinderella 2, Little Mermaid 2, Little Stitch 2, Atlantis 2. You have Lion King 2 and like 1.5 movie, Emperor No Groove 1.5 movie, weird movie, he narrate movie, very very weird movie. You have Aladdin movie 2, 3, but I like Aladdin. He find it very funny, guilty pleasure. A Robin Williams big fan. You also have the weird shows, like Emperor No Groove show. He in college once, very weird film. Hercules show, Aladdin show, Lilo and Stitch show, but I like Lilo and Stitch. Big fan of show, so I not count that. But do you think Disney, they pick on people, pick on them, say movies and shows bad, but they always have bad shows and bad movies and good movies. So do you think people just have short memory, only ever remember good when come to past and never bad? Or do you think people are fair with sorry, English, little bad, with what they say about Disney? Also, do you have favorite bad sequel movie you like or show you like? I love to hear what you say about this. And thank you for your time. And have a nice day from Czech Republic. Bye.
You know, this kind of goes in line with what we were talking about in the car, actually. I think we were talking about like Disney just kind of spitting out stuff, or like other studios spitting out stuff.
So the question is there too much of something?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
You didn't know
well, because it was a lot.
There was a lot there. There was a lot there. But I think his point was, you know, they have good stuff and bad stuff. So why are people reacting this way to Disney a lot nowadays, right? A lot of people, you know, anytime a Disney thing comes out, like you have a whole subset of people who are just like, oh, Disney, and they're doing horrible and blah, blah, blah. Like,
oh, yeah.
You know, and we were just talking about it. We're kind of in the age where it's like they want to rebrand and reboot all these like old cartoon shows, right?
Well, yeah.
They're doing all the live action stuff.
Yeah, I mean, well, they're doing sequels to stuff because it's more proven IPs. Because the stuff that they've been trying to reboot and redo hasn't been very successful. Because I think the imagination behind the movies are not there anymore like it used to be, unfortunately. Yeah. And I wish it was.
Right.
But it's not there anymore. So, like, you got Inside Out this weekend. Inside Out, it looks like it's going to be pretty good. I saw the trailer. I like the trailer a lot.
Yeah, I think the ticket pre-sales for that are
they're pretty high. They're pretty high. That should definitely take out If and Garfield for sure.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think they just have to get back to those type of movies and try to find a way to have more balance.
Well, it's quality over quantity, right?
Yeah, it's always quality over quantity.
Yeah, you can't keep putting out stuff and then being surprised when it doesn't work. Like you need to put out a good movie.
Yeah.
Almost all the time instead of 5 bad movies and a hit, because then where's your money going? You're not really making enough money.
That would be very true.
You're sinking all your money in these other projects, and then you have your one hit, but you basically even out at some point, right? So
Definitely gonna bottom out. I think he also has said, "What's the favorite Disney sequel?"
Yeah, or what's your favorite bad Disney sequel or something? That could have been a mistranslation. So let's go with bad favorite sequel, Disney sequel.
Favorite Disney sequel, I would say, off the top of my head, I just say Toy Story 2. I did like Toy Story.
That's
2.
a good one.
Yeah, that was pretty good. That was pretty solid. When they started doing the rest of them, I was like, I was okay with it. But then the second one was a classic one. You introduced more toys.
Yeah.
You introduced Jesse. You introduced what was the horse name? God damn it, I forgot his name.
I don't even remember his name.
I forgot his name. My Disney heads are gonna whoop me. They're gonna beat me up for that. I'm usually good at getting Bullseye.
Bullseye. There we go. Yeah.
Bullseye. So I like them. Then you had Zurg. Zurg was in there.
Yeah, and the whole Star Wars parody with that.
Yep. And it was also cool to see Buzz once again seeing himself as something else other than what he thought. It's like millions and millions of Buzz Lightyears in the toy store.
I want to pivot from your question real quick, but what did you think of Lightyear?
I didn't like it.
You didn't like Lightyear?
Nah.
I know a lot of people didn't. I enjoyed it actually.
Oh, okay.
I think I like Lightyear quite a bit, just because it wasn't Toy Story.
It wasn't.
It wasn't meant to be Toy Story.
I'm glad they didn't do that.
It was. This is the movie that the toy is based off of.
Yeah.
So I could get behind that, and I don't know. I just enjoyed it. It was a good film. It's like Interstellar, but
yeah, it was definitely Interstellar.
It had Interstellar vibes, but I don't know. I thought it was a pretty fun movie. But I understand because that movie is more for me and you versus a child. Like I think little kid audiences, it was a little bit too mature for them. Kind of like If.
Yep.
And we'll talk about If later. Mature. But yeah, it's
it was okay. I just thought it had potential to do more. It had potential to do more, and it just didn't meet the requirements.
Yeah. The only thing I didn't like is the Zurg being his older self or whatever.
Yeah, I really didn't.
That's the only thing I didn't quite agree with. But it is what it is. It's a kids movie at the end of the day.
But I gotta stop you there. We gotta stop saying that because
that's true.
If we want to keep saying that it's a kids movie, that's gonna take away quality. And it's like, understandably so, kids have to have movies to watch, but we also have to understand too. We also go to the movies as well. Mm-hmm. We count as a fraction of these movies too as well, because we're the ones paying for it.
Right? Kids
don't go to the movies by themselves, even though some parents do just let the kids just roam around the movie theaters by themselves, but you're not supposed to. But it's just you got to create quality. Like Garfield, I saw Garfield. Who in their right minds sat there and said, let's do a Garfield film.
Let's do a Garfield movie.
And a lot of the kids that came, because I saw them, they're like, we don't even know Garfield. We're just going because it's a kid's film.
Well, you're right, because Garfield's a classic, but Garfield was older than us, I think.
Older than
we were
us.
even coming up. Like it's not too much older, but it's like Harold and the Purple Crayon, right? Mm-hmm. it's like, who is this for? Who's like what? The boomer and silent generation are going to come out for this? Like we're
perfect.
You're going to bring your great grandkids who don't even want to be in this movie. So you have a good point there. You need to know your audience, or you need to know what demographics you want to hit.
Yeah, this is about knowing the quality of the people. It's like Garfield is a sketch. Well, not a sketch, but it's a newspaper comic strip.
Yeah.
That at least has 2 or 3 panels.
Yeah.
It's always had 3 or 2 panels.
Yeah.
Now you're talking about stretching that panel out into a full-length film.
You're right. When I was in the 5th grade, I think one of my homeroom teachers, they had like a couple of the Garfield books, and so stupid. I used to read them and just like laugh my butt off at the good. 3-panel comics.
Yeah, they're good.
But yeah, those were classic back in the day. To go back to his question, because you answered it, I hadn't yet. My favorite Disney sequel, I guess it's like a half sequel, right? It would be dinosaurs. It would be Lion King 1.5.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's a solid one.
I love that movie. It's like an in-between sequel kind of thing, but it was hilarious. Or to my little kid brain, it was hilarious when I first saw it. Like the songs were kind of catchy. The little Meerkat song, like the cast of characters were great. Timon and Pumbaa, of course, and just like they're like all the stuff they went through while the Lion King was going on in the background. I kind of like those types of media. You know,
I thought that was good. I really liked that movie.
Where it's like the same movie but a different perspective.
Yeah,
I thought that would be cool. Honestly, a live action 1.5 would have worked better than a Mufasa movie. I don't know why they're doing Mufasa.
No one asked for Mufasa.
And I think they're changing up some of the lore with Mufasa. But hey, we're not gonna get started. We got a lot to do.
Yeah.
We got a lot to talk about today. Thanks, Tomas, for your voicemail. If anybody out there wants to send us a voicemail, just
yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, you can send one in at onthegopod2023@gmail.com. We'd be more than happy to play it on air for you guys.
How you pronounce that? Tomas?
Tomas.
Tomas?
I think it was Tomas. It was a little hard to
Yeah.
catch. It's either Thomas or Tomas, but
Okay. Thank you, Tomas.
yeah.
On the go. Welcome to Greasel Burger. How greasy do you want your beefy? How can I take your order?
Or in the drive-thru.
Y'all have 15 Greasel burgers, extra greasy, extra mayo Cajun sauce on all 15. It's for my family. 1 extra large diet soda, please.
Do you want ice with that?
Boy, what the hell kind of question is that? Of course I want ice. It's fucking hot out here. And could you speed that up? I'm in a hurry.
With Jacob and James.
Okay, so this week, well, the weekend, that weekend before that, I saw Bad Boys.
Okay.
Bad Boys, Ride or Die. This is Will Smith's first movie, really full-length movie in
His
theaters.
first big movie.
Big movie in theaters after the slap, because the other movie was the
Emancipation.
Emancipation did.
Which nobody... I
no
think it
one
was an
saw.
Apple movie, right?
Yeah, it was an Apple movie.
Yeah.
So
No
I
one's
think-
going to see that.
Yeah, I think that was like half of it, and another half of it, but I won't
And
get
also,
into that.
he probably had that filmed and already done before the
Yeah.
slap. So
Oh,
this
yeah,
is-
no, yeah, he
this is
did.
his first thing after the slap.
Yeah. This is the first official movie after the slap. So a lot of people and a lot of critics were trying to see how this movie's going to do afterwards. And it made $56 million in the box office weekend.
56 million?
$56
That
million.
seems low.
It seems low but once you add, domestically it was $56 million. But then
Worldwide.
Worldwide, then, we haven't got those numbers yet. So it's like a lot of people didn't see this movie doing as well because of Will Smith's slap and how people take him.
Sidebar, real quick, before you get into your main point, because I know you have a lot you want to cover with this. The directors of this movie, they were the ones who did the Batgirl movie.
The Batgirl movie.
And so now, again, a lot more people are coming out wanting to see this Batgirl movie that Warner Brothers, quote unquote, said was so horrible.
Well, that's not gonna happen.
So,
but I mean, this is do good for them as far as them doing another film.
exactly, and I think Marvel's looking at them for the next Spider-Man.
They should.
Spider-Man 4 or whatever with Tom Holland.
Because they also did Transformers 2, Rise of the Beast.
Yeah,
They did that
was
too
the
as
other
well. And that was like okay. And it didn't do as great in the box office, but Bad Boys, they did really, really good with that movie.
right. But they're still up and coming. They've only got it looks like 6 movies here under their belt. So, and I mean, Bad Boys is probably their biggest so far, really.
Oh yeah, it is.
So.
By far is their biggest one. And I think these guys they're gonna hit a gold mine because I think this movie has a lot of staying power because it's rewatchable. It's a movie that's rewatchable. You can watch it over and over again.
Well, it's a summer hit,
It's a summer hit.
summer blockbuster. There
It's
go.
right up there with Godzilla versus Kong.
Right.
And a lot of people were trying to see where the general audience was going to stand for Will Smith.
Yeah.
And it showed you pretty much where everyone stands.
Yeah, and I don't think that's as surprising as some people would make it out to be. I think
It wasn't.
we live in such a reactionary time to where like people just react to something real fast and then they have to process it. So when the slap happened, of course everybody was just reacting and making memes, and it was a big discussion, and it's been a big discussion. Like it still comes up.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if you're logical and you kind of calm yourself down a little bit from the situation, you can tell like the underlying things that led up to that slap.
Oh, yeah.
And I think you can look at Will Smith and his predicament with his wife and everything else going on. It's just like, okay.
It was bad. What he did was horrible.
It was bad.
You can't.
And he owned up to it, I believe.
He
right?
definitely owned up to it.
Right. And then, like I said, I think you can just look at his mental health at that moment and probably, kind of decide like this was a break that he had. And we all have breaks Just most of the time, we're not being filmed.
Exactly.
On that level.
On the biggest stage. It happened on the biggest stage of his night.
Exactly.
And, you know, what I like was the discussions that we had afterwards, after the slap. Because a lot of people were talking about, when, you know, let's break down this man's career. This man has been a model of consistency, a model of excellence, a model of how you're supposed to carry yourself in public and out of public.
Yeah.
And he's never been in trouble with the law. He's never done anything, you know, harmful. So to see him to just combust in that situation, you knew it had to be something totally wrong in his mind. And I love the discussions that we had afterwards. And then, honestly, that made me respect him even more. It sounds crazy, like, how can you respect somebody after you just keep slapping somebody?
Yeah.
It's not the fact that I'm respecting him that he slapped somebody. I'm respecting the fact that he made mistakes. He made a big mistake. And I made big mistakes in my life.
Yeah,
and a lot of people have made big mistakes in their lives, whether the big stage or little stage.
Right. It's just... On the celebrity level, they're put under such a microscope that people forget that they're also human beings at the end of the day. Now, granted, some of them do foolish things.
Oh yeah, without a doubt,
and should be scrutinized for those things. But also, you have to remember they are also a human being. So potentially, they could have some other stuff going on that we don't see.
And then you had Martin Lawrence, who Martin Lawrence is never really in the spotlight anymore, like he used to be back in the early '90s, back in, you know, all the things that he went through in his life.
Right.
So he's calmed down tremendously a lot. So when we get to see these two dynamite actors in a movie theater, in a movie, you're going to watch it. You're just going to watch it. And I was so happy that this movie was actually good. I still think Bad Boys, what's that? Bad Boys for Life?
Bad Boys for Life.
Yeah,
Which should have been this one.
Which should have been this one. But I don't think
they didn't anticipate a fourth one. Yeah.
I don't think they ever thought they were going to do a sequel to this. But I think that one was a little bit better than this one. But I still love this film, the overall arc of it. I think the 20 minutes of the beginning of the film, you're going to be like, the jokes don't really land this hard.
Yeah.
But after you get past those 20 minutes, it hits off with a bang and the action starts, the good jokes start and everything.
Well, you know, like I said before, the trailer for this movie already had me. I was like, this looks a lot better than the third one. I don't really remember too much of the third one, but when I saw the trailer for this, I was like, this looks really fun and good.
Yeah, and it really was. Like I said, the first 20 minutes of it, you're kind of like, okay, we kind of seen this before.
Right.
And you really don't need to do this because it was actually 2 hours. It was like an hour and 55 minutes.
Damn.
So if you shave off a couple of those minutes, you really could have had a perfect Bad Boys film. And I just wanted to talk about why this movie did so successful. And because you had 3 movies in particular that were supposed to come out at the beginning of the summer. They were supposed to be summertime bang. It was supposed to be Fall Guy, Ryan Gosling coming off of that, you know, Oscar nomination for Barbie. Then you had Planet of the Apes. Then you had Furiosa. Those 3 movies was what Hollywood told us that was going to be the box office draw. That were going to be, you know, that was going to bring in the money, the dollars. And those movies did good. Don't get me wrong. They didn't do horrible. Like, it's not like they made $8 million or something.
Right.
But they didn't do exactly what Hollywood thought those movies were going to do. And it just fills it out on arrival. And I want to go through in my opinion, a couple of reasons why I thought Bad Boys did a little bit better than what they expected. Because a lot of Hollywood did not expect Bad Boys to do this good. And one reason I got is because it's a proven IP.
Yeah.
You know, it's something that everyone knows. It's 2 actors that we rarely ever get. You know, forget what people may say. Will Smith and Martin Lawrence is just as popular as George Clooney and Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
You know, they just are. They're recognizable faces. They have sitcoms that come on regularly on MTV and VH1.
Did you know Martin Lawrence was born in Germany?
Yeah, I knew that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just sorry. I was just like, oh.
It's fine. But you know, these are 2 proven IP. It's an IP of actors. It's kind of like Avengers level. You got 2 sitcom giants joined together to do a film, and they've been able to squeeze out 5 of these things. Well, 4 of these things.
Probably soon to be 5.
Probably soon to be 5 because this movie's still killing it right now.
Yeah.
So that's another reason why people saw this movie. I think 2 is because a lot of people don't have a lot of money to spend in the movie theater.
Exactly.
So, and it kind of coincides with the first one. You want to go to a movie that you know for sure you're gonna get the bang
that
for
you're
your
gonna
buck.
enjoy.
That you're gonna enjoy.
Because going to movies is kind of a gamble sometimes.
It's a hell of a gamble.
You know, sometimes you don't know if you're gonna like it. We're like working in a movie theater. I've seen so many people come out of a movie and are like, "Yeah, I did not like that movie. Is there any way I can get my money back?" Well, no, you saw the movie already.
Yeah, you already saw it.
You know, it's like you got to come out like 20 minutes in if you want that. But I mean, there's plenty of people who just like leave and get refunds or get ticket switched because, hey, I thought I was gonna like this and I didn't. So you're right. Yeah, quality.
And don't get me wrong. Like I love Furiosa, and I know you haven't saw it yet, but you will see it soon. I saw Planet of the Apes. I think I love Planet of the Apes more than I loved Furiosa.
Right. Well, because they keep raving about, I guess, like the cinematography in Planet of the Apes, and like the director was a huge fan of Planet of the Apes. He was a fan of the other 3 movies, and he wanted to do it justice. And it came from a place of love making that movie.
Well, yeah. Anytime you do a movie that's made with love, you're gonna have a successful film.
Right.
So you had that.
But Planet of the Apes is also a franchise that's had like 7 or 8 movies before, even before the reboots. So you know, it's an old franchise, and it's kind of a played out franchise. How many times can you see Planet of the Apes?
And like you said, it's a niche audience for those 2 movies.
And to be fair, the first movie was a classic. The rest of them,
not so
tell
much.
me the plot of the 3rd movie.
Yeah, you're right. No, you're right.
You know, yeah.
'Cause I don't think Charlton Heston was in the other ones. I think he was just in the first one, if I'm not mistaken.
And he cameoed as a different ape.
And he cameoed in the
2001.
Tim Burton one.
Yeah.
So Charlton Heston went in there for those. So it's like, and then you got. It's not. I'm not just railing on these movies either because
they're prime examples.
They're just prime examples. I'm not railing against them. Like Ghostbusters as well. Ghostbusters didn't do good in the box office. I love Ghostbusters.
Right.
I love that IP.
Yeah.
But I understand a lot of people don't love that IP. You know, and they tried to make it diverse as possible. So I don't want to make that as so much of a sticking point either. But I am going to get to that point.
Well, it's also the issue with these legacy sequels is how do you make something new with something old while entertaining new fans and old?
And that's what Bad Boys do.
Because old fans just want to see the same recycled stuff.
Yep.
New fans want to see something different and intriguing.
I'm glad you said that because that's exactly what Bad Boys did. They do something in this film where you're like, oh, that's never been done before in the Bad Boys film.
Yeah.
That's interesting. And I'll be curious to see if they can move on, if they can do that in the next film. It's going to probably get a next film.
Right.
Because Ghostbusters did that, but they didn't carry it on. And,
and then they threw too much at you.
They threw too much at you.
Yeah.
You know, so that's a good point as well. So, and Fall Guy is an old sitcom show.
It's an old, it's back in the day.
Way back in the day.
Lee Majors
time.
$6 million man time.
$6 million man time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, I think that movie would have done a lot better than Fall Guy.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people know about $6 Million Man.
Not many people knew about Fall Guy. Not many people knew this was a reboot until, it was kind of discovered or announced, I suppose. But, I mean, Fall Guy looks great, though.
Oh, I had a good time with that, too.
Yeah.
I had a good time with that, too.
But you're right. It's a reboot of an old thing. And I just mentioned in the last segment about Harold and the Purple Crown.
Harold and the Purple Crown.
Who's really coming to see.
Which comes out this summer.
Yeah. Well, August, like end of summer-ish? Yeah.
Zachary Levi.
We'll see how that comes out.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be another rough summer for
do
Zachary
a special
Levi.
episode on that one, huh?
Well, yeah, definitely got to get their review in.
Yeah.
So, and then my last point, and I don't want to go too much deeper in this because I think we talked about this before.
Oh, yeah.
It was the black audience makes up the majority of the freaking box office, man. And this is an ongoing situation that's been going on for years. I remember when Chris Rock, speaking of the devil, remember, I know you don't watch the Oscars, but the 2 times that he'd hosted, he would always go ask people in the movie theater as they come out.
Oh, really?
Have you seen this Oscar movie? I wish you could dig that up. That was so funny, man. It was so freaking funny on YouTube. And if you guys ever get a chance to watch it, watch it. It was he would ask all these black people out of the movie theater, have you seen like a $1 Million Baby?
Yeah.
And like, I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
But have you saw, this other black movie? Have you seen Friday After Next? Yeah, I saw Friday After Next.
Yeah.
And I don't think that he was trying, in my opinion, I don't think he was trying to think that black people are not intellectual enough to see other type of movies.
Yeah.
Because I don't think, I totally don't think that. But I just think that variety counts as well.
Yeah.
Got to have a good variety of
You're
these
right.
movies that are fun.
You're right. And, we were talking on the way over here, the black audience shows up, black community shows out for black movies.
Oh, yeah.
No matter
doubt.
what. Like, the Little Mermaid. They made her black. Black people came out for that just to support.
Yeah, Haley
their
Bailey.
people. Even
Chloe,
if
I'm sorry, Haley.
What?
Oh, no, I'm sorry, Haley Bailey. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Haley Bailey. It's weird because her name's so close to Halle Berry. It throws me off all the time. But even though we have this, some people call it forced diversity, where they race swap
Disney.
characters and whatever. Yeah, and it's funny because obviously Khadijah's black. We have these conversations a bunch.
I never knew that.
The audience might not know.
Yeah, they might not. Yeah.
But we have these conversations, and it's kind of like, yeah, the black community would love to see original black characters, but also we have to take what we can get, so we support the actors and the characters that they play, even though you're playing Ariel, and Ariel used to be a white girl or whatever, and they could have easily just made a Little Mermaid with a new black mermaid, but we have to come and support, and it's like this weird teeter-totter of yeah, we love seeing more black characters in movies, but we would also like to see more original black characters in movies.
Well, yeah, and that the other half is not. They're not going to be happy either or.
You're right.
So it does kind of like damn if you do, damn if you don't.
There was a guy who did a whole video on like breaking down all the complaints about black characters in games and movies, and he's like, so let me get this straight. You don't want this, you don't want that, you don't want this, but then we do this, and then you don't want that. It's like you're never happy. Like, what do you want?
And I think also too, Hollywood is to blame for it, but it's like the reason why they're making up for past sins. So now they're going a step overboard.
You're right,
because they're trying to make up for stuff that they did. It's like you did this one thing and you messed up,
and then you're just pissing off one or both sides.
So now you're just trying to go overboard.
Yeah,
and everything's got to do this now.
Yeah, it's a whole lose-lose situation.
So that's kind of on y'all. That's on Hollywood. That's on you guys, because you guys did this to begin with.
Right.
Had you done right by people and done right by races, you would. Well, I don't mean races. If you would have done right by diversity at the time, you would not have had the problems that we have now.
Yeah.
So that has to be looked at as well.
Or it's like if you just take a step back and kind of look at what you're doing and look at what you can do.
And that's all.
Or maybe read some Facebook comments from people who actually care and not trolls or whatever.
Because I'm not saying that studios are allowed to make whatever film they want to make.
Of course.
Warren Scorsese can make whatever film he wants to make.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that you have to cast black people.
Yeah.
That's not. But you got to look at this audience. Hollywood, the fact that Bad Boys, now, as much as I enjoyed Bad Boys, I loved it. The fact that you had this type of movie have to put a jolt into interjection into the movie theater business, that's not good.
Yeah.
You got to look at that. It's got to look at well, why was the spike in movie theaters this week? Well, look at the movie that came out. Look at the two people that were in there.
Right.
And
some of it also has to do with genre.
Genre as well.
Like I said, it's a big dumb action movie.
It is.
Godzilla did great. Big dumb monster movie. Yeah, you just make a big dumb movie.
now we're gonna have Twisters come out, and we'll see how good Twisters is. I think it's gonna do good.
It probably will, because it's a big dumb disaster movie.
And I'm gonna tell you something else. I'll tell you what. Let me finish this up real quick. Then I'll tell you something else about Twisters.
All right.
Why that movie's gonna be successful.
All right.
But I think those are my 3 reasons why I think Bad Boys did good at the box office. And I'm happy for Will Smith. I'm happy for Martin Lawrence. Martin Lawrence is not sick. He's already said he's not sick. Stop saying he's sick. Boom. If the man said he's good, he's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I really enjoyed that film. You definitely got to watch it, Jacob. I think you're gonna have a good time. You and Khadijah would have a good time watching it.
Well, we saw the last one, so we just ended up seeing the Watchers movie instead.
Yeah, so that's my 3 reasons. Get out, go see the movie. I'm not gonna spoil it because Jacob has to see it. But once he sees it, then we'll talk about it a little bit more. Then after that, that's it. So I'll move on to the next topic. But also too, Twisters. Glenn Powell, that guy is taking off, man.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That guy is taking off.
Well, that Hitman movie came out
over
the weekend. We covered that a long time ago. It was one of our first first few episodes, the Richard Linklater Hitman movie. I didn't realize that's how he was gonna make. I didn't realize that's how the movie was gonna the tone it was gonna be. But I really do want to watch that one. That one looks good too.
Dude, this man's taking off, man. He's had that movie with Sydney Sweeney. He's had he's becoming what I like about him, he's that old school guy. He's kind of that old school actor.
Well, he's kind of got that old school look to him because, I think I told you when I first saw the trailer for Twisters, I thought he was Bill Paxton's character still.
You did.
You know, and yeah, I totally forgot Bill Paxton's dead.
Yeah.
But so it couldn't have been him either way, but he looked like Bill Paxton's character. So I get what you're saying about the old school.
It's just something endearing about him. It's like he kind of has that old school action hero type of vibe. Put him in a disaster movie, take control type dude. I think that's kind of what it is. I think that's why people are so kind of linked to him as he is, because his movies are doing good. His movies are really doing well. You know, after Top Gun, he did that movie with Jonathan Majors. And his career is just really taking off. Yeah, man.
And then he was in that other Top Gun movie. It's not Top Gun, but it's like another. It's basically Top Gun. It was, I think, John Boyega was in it. It was Black Top Gun.
Oh, he was in another one too.
Yeah.
So he did 3 pilot movies.
Yeah.
Oh man, I haven't seen that one.
I was like, damn,
I haven't missed that one.
This man just likes to fly. But it's funny because he's been acting for a while. His first movie was Spy Kids 3D.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, who the hell he's playing there?
And he was in The Dark Knight Rises as an extra.
Oh, okay.
At one point. Let's see, he was in Expendables 3, Ride Along 2.
I know he was in Ride Along 2. I remember that.
Top Gun Maverick. I think Top Gun Maverick is probably where he started really taking off. Right?
That's what he took off.
That movie did so much when it came out. So, like, you and I saw that movie, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. And then I very quickly started to hate it because everyone just wouldn't shut up about it for like weeks.
But that's another one. That's another type of movie.
You're right.
That took off.
Yeah.
It saved the box office that year.
Yeah. And it's funny because that's almost in the same category as a legacy sequel, right?
It
because
is.
The original Top Gun was like, what, the 80s?
And I'm telling you right now, the original Top Gun, it doesn't hold a candle to this one.
Yeah.
It doesn't hold a candle. It's because the first one was so corny. Oh man, it was so bad.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, it was so bad. But this one, it's rewatchable. It's a rewatchable movie.
And I believe they're working on a third one.
I think they are.
Yeah.
But no, man, I just want to say that I gotta give a shout out to that guy, Glenn Powell. His career is taking off like a rocket ship.
Oh yeah.
Don't get in superhero films. God, don't get him in superhero films.
Stay out of 10-year contracts with Marvel, otherwise you'll never make a movie again.
I'd rather see him in like 20 disaster movies. But just don't do any superhero movies.
Yeah, right.
Please don't.
Right? Don't get stuck like Marshall Ali.
No, don't get stuck like him.
Hey, Houston creatives. Ready to mix, mingle, and make memories? Join us at Carbach Brewery for the Member Mix on July 11th. Get ready to sip, snack, and socialize with the coolest creatives in town. Plus, renew your membership and score a free professional headshot. Elevate your personal brand and enjoy 40% off and add to membership. This is where you belong. Don't miss out. Join us at Carbach Brewery for the Member Mix and be part of Houston's leading creative community. See you there. Member Mix, where connections brew. Drinks, laughs, and headshots on us. I had originally planned on seeing Furiosa the other day, James. I was going to go see it with Joel, but Joel's got a kid and he couldn't get a babysitter. And we didn't want to traumatize the child.
True.
So we were like, all right, well, it's either If or it's Garfield. And neither one of us wanted to see Garfield.
Thank God.
We chose If.
Good job.
So we chose If. And let me tell you, James, that's not as much of a kid's movie as I thought it was.
It's not.
It's like a drama with childlike elements.
Mm-hmm.
I think is a good way to describe it. Because, I mean, how do you want to go about this? What did you think of the movie?
Well, I like the beginning of the film. You know, It showed the little girl with her parents and always being a little kid. Kind of had a Peter Pan element to it as well.
Yeah.
You know,
I can see that.
Strong innocence. You know, every day your parents love you. You party every day. Not so much party, but you just have fun with your family, with your parents. Then all of a sudden, there's just tragic things happen. And then the girl grows up and then she forgets her imagination. Mm-hmm. You know, and it's just, it does get a little sad. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
And I probably caught this movie at the wrong time when I saw it. So I was just like...
So a good summary for the film is this little girl goes to live with her grandmother because her dad's having like some kind of heart surgery or something. And she's got to stay with her in the hospital, her grandmother while her dad's in the hospital. So while she's staying with her grandmother, she notices like some imaginary creatures are around. And then she meets Ryan Reynolds, who is like this caretaker of these imaginary friends. And his job is to find them new kids, right? And then she decides she's going to help him out and proceeds to travel across New York with this strange man in the apartment complex with
this big old creature in blue.
While her grandmother sleeps in their apartment and doesn't know anything that she does ever.
That's pretty much it. That's what
we were talking about after the movie. We're like, did the grandma not know where she was? Like,
and she was able to stay out as long as she wanted.
The thing that got me was, I think there was a scene in the beginning of the film where she goes out at like 11 o'clock at night or something to like a corner store to buy like a charger cable for her camcorder. And it's just like, in New York, you're just walking down the street like that? Like, what?
You can do it, man. I couldn't do it, but you could do it.
This is an on-the-go spoiler alert. You have now been alerted.
I guess we'll get into some spoilers here. So, what did you think of the movie?
I thought it was okay. I thought it was fine. It's a good little family film. Kind of has a 1990s element to it. Kind of brought you back to that time, which I love those movies, those kid-friendly, those family films back in the 90s. I like the retirement home where they had all the imaginaries. I said, oh, this is
in the amusement
similar
park?
to, oh, this is very similar to something I used to watch on TV when I was a kid.
Yeah.
By the name of Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends.
I will say, after seeing this movie, Cartoon Network is probably like, you can keep it. Warner Brothers is like, nah, don't.
Yeah.
We're not gonna.
Oh,
we're
no.
not gonna sue you for this.
Oh no, no doubt.
Never mind. No, we're not.
Yeah, you can have this property.
They were on the phone with their lawyers, and then one of them saw the movie, and they're like, "Oh no, we're good."
Yeah, because this movie has no, for a movie called Imagination, it has no imagination, not even a little bit.
Yeah, it's just. So what I didn't like about it was John Krasinski plays the dad.
Yep.
He directed the movie. He wrote the movie. I think he's the voice of one of the characters, maybe.
Yep. He's the art director.
Yeah, he's involved heavily, and then he self-inserts himself into this movie. And I feel like the dad did not need to be in this film.
Nah,
you could have just done the little girl goes to live with the grandmother on summer vacation or whatever, or even like you still could have had him in the hospital, but like maybe don't show him until the end because she would visit him in the hospital, and the whole time this dude's wearing normal clothes.
Yep.
And I'm wondering, like, if you're staying in this hospital, why aren't you in hospital clothes? Like, why are you just wearing jeans and a t-shirt
and a
hanging
sweater
out in this hospital? Yeah, throwing around your IV bag, dancing with it.
Yeah,
like what is happening here? It just seemed like such a self-insert.
Well, it's one of those things that they're doing now more and more. It's a vehicle for the plot to carry the plot along.
Yeah,
and a lot of movies are starting to do this now.
Yeah,
and I really hate this. It's a plot that you really don't need.
Well, I mean, her being worried about her dad isn't a bad plot because that what sparks the whole imagination and the imaginary friends thing.
But we didn't need to go to the hospital. We didn't need to go to the hospital.
We didn't need to go
24/7.
No,
those are things that you could have took out.
Yeah, or like she visits him one day and she's like, "Oh, I got a job," and then she just leaves. Like she brings him flowers, tells him she's got a job, which is finding these imaginary friends, like their homes or whatever. And then she just leaves. Like, that's the visit. Like, you went there for 5 minutes. Like, you went all the way to the hospital for this.
Yep.
So she meets all the imaginary friends, and they're a cast of wacky characters. And honestly, I thought they were going to be involved a lot more.
I thought so, too.
I thought there was going to be a lot more, like, finding them homes or, like, finding where they belong and all that stuff. There's really not a lot. There's one scene where she goes up to a kid that she meets in the hospital, and they do, like, this rotation of, like, imaginary friends to see who's a good fit for him.
He didn't want none of them.
None of them were a good fit. Couldn't see him because you have to believe in them to see them. It's like that logic. And then Ryan Reynolds is with her, and something I pick up in that scene,
I know,
is that the kid doesn't acknowledge Ryan Reynolds.
He's an imaginary person.
And yeah, he's also an imaginary friend. At the end of the movie, you find out.
I picked that up on the first time I saw the movie.
Yeah, at the end of the movie, you find out he's her he's the imaginary friend to the little girl who I forgot her name, but she's the main character.
Which is also very weird. But
why is he the only human imaginary friend?
That's what I was getting to. I was like, you dream of this. You imagine this honky, dreamy guy.
There's like a blue fuzzy thing. There's a marshmallow on fire.
There's an invisible key. Yeah, key that no imagination will put into that person.
There's a cup of water with an ice cube in it, which I thought was actually kind of funny.
I like that one. You got
yeah, you dreamed up Ryan Reynolds.
You dreamed up this handsome, tall dude the looks. They're like nothing looks crazy on him. There's no eye hanging off. There's none of that. Nope.
He was a clown originally.
Yeah, he was a clown
looks like
originally.
a human. Yeah.
I was like, come on, man.
You find that out at the very end, but in the meantime, the little girl's having a conniption fit over not being able to find this kid an imaginary friend, and then somehow she learns that one of the imaginary friends belonged to her grandmother because she was telling the story of what she used to do with her kid, and then the little girl goes, "Oh, that sounds like my grandmother because my grandmother likes to dance and my grandmother likes this and blah blah blah." And the grandmother either they have the same accent, which it's probably because they're voiced by the same people, I would think, or somewhere. And so the little girl decides to test it out, and she plays this little vinyl record of a song from way back in the day, and then the grandmother starts dancing, reminiscing on the old days, and then she starts glowing.
Yep.
And then that's when the imaginary friend can interact with her. They interact, or supposedly they interact, because then later on in the movie, or I think the next scene, they're getting Blue, the mascot of this film, the big purple fuzzy dude.
Yep.
Voiced by Steve Carell.
And they choose the guy from Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I was surprised to see him in this movie. I thought it was going to be Steve Carell.
Me too. That would have been interesting, right?
Yeah. So they take him to go meet his kid, and something I noticed in these interactions is you never see the imaginary friend interact with their people until the end of the film.
Yep.
But while the little girl is introducing the adults with their former friends, their imaginary friends, there's a glow, but there's never any interaction.
Nope.
Right? And then towards the end of the movie, it seems like John Krasinski is going to die. So she runs to the hospital and tells him this story of how she came out of her shell and all this stuff. And it turns out he's not dead. He was just recovering from heart surgery. Turns out it's a major thing to recover from. And everything's all good and well and stuff, and they're moving out. And that's when the little girl realizes that, hey, Ryan Reynolds is my imaginary friend. And then they leave, and then it does a montage of Ryan Reynolds introducing all the imaginary friends back with their old adults. But again, the little girl's not around to witness that.
Like I said, the movie's fine. I don't hate it.
No, you're right. It was a fine movie. It's not a kid's movie because Joel's kid was ready to go an hour into it.
Well, that's why I said to one of my friends at work, I was like, this movie doesn't keep a kid's attention.
No.
Garfield does.
It barely kept my attention.
Yeah.
Because it's such a slow beginning.
Oh yeah, it definitely does.
Because it's just it's such a slow burn to get to the imaginary friends part. I'm like, where's the friends? Why are we? This little girl's mom dies. Her dad's in the hospital. This is a sad movie.
Yeah, this is sad. This is depressing. I didn't expect this. So, not a kid's film, not a young kid's film. Maybe an older kid's film that you want to punish. 13.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a punishment film.
Maybe your emo kid or something, but it's something, man. I don't like it. Like you said, it's a fine movie. I don't think it's a bad movie. I don't think it's a great movie. I think it's a good performance from Ryan Reynolds because he's not doing
his Deadpool shtick.
His Deadpool shtick. He's kind of, he's still obviously Ryan Reynolds, but he's not to the 10th degree. He's actually playing a character. And
he's dialed down a lot.
Yeah. I didn't care for the self-insert of John Krasinski. I don't think he needed to be there. And then I had this thought the other day when I was kind of thinking over the movie again, and I thought this is a good setup for another movie.
Oh yeah.
I don't think that's the plan. I really don't think he's gonna try to make a franchise out of this.
Done. Yeah, this movie's done.
Yeah, but it feels like it feels like a number 1 to a number 2. It feels like the next movie is where you would get the full force of, all right, we're gonna match these imaginary friends with the people. Because I thought there was gonna be more of that, and there wasn't.
Honestly, this type of movie that you would find on Netflix. This got Netflix written all over it.
Yeah.
And the only reason why it hit the movie theaters is because it had John Krasinski type, name to it. Mm-hmm. And look, he's shown that he can direct movies and write movies. Quiet Place, yeah, obviously. So that's why the studios had Paramount gave him the backing to this movie.
Yeah.
Now the box office has definitely shown, and not only the box office, but the critics and audience alike has all said the same thing we've been saying.
Yeah.
This movie's not very good.
Yeah.
And it's very generic at best.
The marketing The marketing made it look more like a fun kids movie.
It made you feel like it made you feel like it was a Foster Home for Imaginary Friends.
Yeah, and it's definitely not a Foster Home.
No,
I did think the twist to like the Imaginary Friends, like they don't get new kids, you have to reunite them with their old kids as adults or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I did like that part.
I thought that was cool. Shout out to Louis Gossett Jr., late actor. He played the teddy bear. Yeah, he passed away. I think he must have passed away like right after this film was made. But he was a fantastic actor. Louis Gossett Jr. He was like 80. He was he won the best supporting actor for Lady and the Gentleman.
Nice.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Well, rest in peace, that guy.
Yeah, I miss him. He was a very, very fine actor.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'd watch it on streaming.
Yeah, it's a streaming movie.
I'm still curious about it, but it's not.
And we got another movie coming out similar to this too.
Another one?
Not John Krasinski has nothing to do with it. It's our favorite guy, Zachary Levi.
Harold and the Purple Crown.
Harold and the Purple Crayon.
That looks
looks
so
horrible.
Bad.
Oh, it looks so bad. It's based off the book. I don't know if you ever read the book before.
No, I never read the book.
Yeah. Wow. I'm sorry, Jay. I don't know what the hell you read when you was a kid. You said this. Like, no, I read. You sound so threatening when I said that.
Not the Purple Crown.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, the Purple Crayon. I don't know, man. That seems like another bad movie. I think that movie comes out in August.
Yeah, that's gonna be.
And that movie looks very similar to this.
That's gonna be rough.
Yeah, and I think that movie's gonna be significantly worse than this.
I don't know. I think it'll entertain kids more than this one, though.
Yeah, because it's a guy that's taking a crayon and he's drawing all these imaginary things.
It's Green Lantern.
I didn't even think about that until you said it.
Green
Holy
Lantern
hell!
With the crown.
Yeah, you're right. That's pretty much Green Lantern, just with a purple crayon.
Yeah.
Damn, I never thought about that. I never thought about that.
There you go.
On the Go podcast with Jacob and James. It's decent.
All right, James. So you watched the movie and I watched the movie. We went and saw. Khadija and I went and saw Watchers on last Friday, when it came out, right?
Mm-hmm.
We went to the Star Cinema Grill or Studio Movie Grill out in Sugarland.
Oh, okay.
And I've made the comment before, like how movie theaters are evolving and adapting and all that stuff,
which they need to.
And let me tell you, I thoroughly enjoy those types of theaters where you just go in, you order your food, they bring it to you, you got the recliners. That I'm all about the movie experience. I think that's our new thing. It's just like those theaters.
I wish I could relate. Like I never had the pleasure in going into. Well, don't get me wrong. I go to the movie theaters a lot, but I've never had the pleasure of going into a movie theater and actually sitting down and ordering food.
Oh, you got to do it. You got to treat yourself.
I probably should.
Just, it's a cool experience.
Yeah.
Let me tell you. But it was a nice theater. It had like a long walkway. Like we walked in and it was still like 40, 50 feet to like even get to the lobby. I was like, what's the point of this? But anyway, enough about the movie theater experience. So we went and watched Watchers. M. Night Shyamalan's daughter, I think, wrote and directed this movie, or just directed. It was based off a book. So primarily she directed it. Obviously, M. Night Shyamalan was a big producer on it. What did you think from the trailers? What do you think the story is?
I thought that she goes into this. She goes into the woods. Her phone, everything is cut off. So you enter just kind of like this triangle of death. And
like
then
like a Bermuda Triangle.
Like a Bermuda Triangle, that's what I meant. And she goes into this box, and she's trying to get out of the box, and she finds out these people are watching her. Could it be people? Could it be creatures? Who knows?
They're being watched.
But she's being watched.
Yeah.
And that's what I think virtually the whole film is about. And her trying to get out of the box.
Well, without spoiling too much.
Okay, what you got?
I don't want to spoil too much. It's not exactly... I guess it's not exactly what you think it would be, because they can get out the box. They can leave the box, and that's not a huge spoiler. They establish that right away.
Okay.
You know, they can leave the box. There's just like certain kinds of rules they have to follow. They have to be back by a certain time. And then there's a certain time where whatever's watching them comes to watch them. And then they have to do stuff, right? Not do stuff, but like, you know, they have to just act natural.
Like kind of like Sims.
A little bit, yeah, like a live action Sims. It's funny because Khadija and I were watching this, and I turned to her and I was like, "What if the twist is it's just a Sims game?"
That's what it sounds like. It sounds exactly like Sims.
But even though it's M. Night Shyamalan's daughter, it's not completely an M. Night Shyamalan thing. Because you go into it and you're thinking, okay, Shyamalan, there's going to be a twist, and it's going to be all twisty and whatnot.
I had that twist, baby.
There's a little bit of one, but it's not like an M. Night Shyamalan level twist. It's more of your regular movie twist, I would say.
Oh man,
what?
I'm just scared. I'm scared to watch this movie and me just coming out being pissed off. But if you say this, okay, I believe you. I believe you.
It's not like you thought it was this, but it's this. It's more or less like, oh, it's this. You know what I mean? It's a revelation and not, oh my God, I had no idea. Because again, when you watch the movie, you'll see they explain a little bit of things, what's going on. Mm-hmm. They got theories on what's watching them. There's a character in there that's been there longer than anybody, so it's like, okay, well, what do they know? How long they've been here? Are they part of the Watchers? Is this like an inside thing? And there's some mystery and there's some thrills to it, and also like Dakota Fanning, who I didn't recognize. I never recognized Dakota Fanning whenever she's in a thing. Yep. Khadija always has to tell me it's Dakota Fanning, but Dakota Fanning is the girl we follow, and she's kind of like this troubled girl, and she's even in the box, like she's making trouble because everyone's trying to follow the rules, and she's like, why are we following these rules? Why don't we just do XX and whatever? And so she's kind of causing some issues. So you have conflict there. Overall, I think it's a pretty good film. I wouldn't say go to the theaters to see it.
Catch it on streaming.
I'd say catch it on streaming or rent it or buy it if you still like physical media like that.
I do.
I did enjoy it. It did entertain. It was a mystery, so it's like we're sitting there.
It definitely feel like a mystery.
Yeah. So, we're sitting there the whole time going like, okay, what's happening? Like, where's this going to go? And yeah, like I said, it's M. Night Shyamalan's daughter. So the whole time you're waiting for the big twist. But like I said, the twist, if you want to call it that, is minimal. That could also just come from the high expectation of like, all right, where's this going to go? What's Shyamalan going to do now? But it's not. So don't. I think this is a good first movie for Shyamalan's daughter, and hopefully, I don't know. I don't even know if it's the first movie. It might not even be. I might be saying it's her first, but it's not.
I think it is. Is it?
Oh, it's her third movie.
Oh, it's the third movie?
She did A Knock at the Cabin.
She directed that one, or she... I thought that was... because Knock at the Cabin was a good movie. I did enjoy that. I did enjoy that a lot.
She is a daughter of filmmaker M. Night Shyamalan, obviously. Shyamalan directed and wrote several episodes of the horror TV series Servant, for which her father was a showrunner. Shyamalan also directed the second unit on her father's films, Old and Knock at the Cabin. So whatever movie terminology second unit is, second unit director. Okay, M. Night Shyamalan is still listed as the main director. So I guess, I don't know what second unit director means. But
yeah, I never knew what that was.
Okay. But The Watchers is The Watchers is her directorial debut. So this is her very first movie out the gate.
Oh, okay.
Obviously, she's under her father's supervision in a way because he was the executive producer on this thing, I believe. It's based off a book called The Watchers by A.M. Shine.
Okay.
So they also had like the I assume the book to follow. So if you read the book, you know where the story is going. But like I said, I think overall it was a pretty good film. Obviously, it didn't do the money that Bad Boys did. In fact, when we were looking up the seats, I think it only had like 5 showings compared to Bad Boys, which was like 1 every 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So obviously not on the same level, very tonally different. This is a supernatural horror film. Bad Boys is your big dumb action movie. So if you want something that's not a popcorn movie, I'd recommend The Watchers.
Because I think they were pretty much like, look, let's just put the movie out. We know we're not going to compete with Bad Boys. Let's just put the film out.
Right. Well, I suppose you could say they had a little bit of an advantage with like the Shyamalan name.
Yeah.
Because people recognize Shyamalan. However, Shyamalan's also hit and miss.
He's hit and miss.
Because Knock at the Cabin or Knock at the Door, Knock at the Cabin, whatever it was called, was a great film.
It was.
From what I understand. Old didn't do so hot.
It was a hit or miss too because I actually kind of liked it a little bit.
Yeah, Split was great. Everybody loves Split.
Well, Split was good because we didn't know there was a part of anything.
Great twist. But then Glass comes out and
It just
I did
destroyed
not
all
care
that.
for Glass
Oh,
much at all.
I tried.
Yeah.
I tried so hard.
I think Joel really loves Glass, or I think he likes it well enough. But I did not. I was kind of upset with where it ended or where they took it. I don't know.
Let's say, okay, I'm not gonna say I hated Glass, but
Right?
it's just something about it. It's missing something.
I think it just didn't fit my expectations.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, I guess that's on us for thinking M. Night Shyamalan would make a predictable movie, or you know.
Well, yeah. I mean, look, I don't think we thought it was gonna be like a superhero movie.
Right.
We knew that much.
Right.
But it was just something that it felt like it was missing. And then it's like that twist at the end, the organization. I'm just like, oh my God. Here we go again.
Yeah.
That's how it was with Old. Old did the same thing too.
Yeah.
That twist. And that
was based off a book as well.
And that was based off a book. Because I did like that movie until that part, until the ending. I found out what was going on. I was just like, oh man.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the disappointment comes in with him. And that's why I'm hoping that this daughter's movie does not do with watchers. So I am going to watch it eventually.
No, it's good. I would, like I said, it's not action packed.
Oh yeah. We know that
it's
from
a
jump.
thriller.
Yeah.
It's something to, I don't want to say it's something to sit down and think about, because I know you said you attempted it once and then it was too much thinking.
Yeah.
It's not really a thinking movie, but it's definitely like, I don't know. I guess it's like you just keep paying attention.
Like, oh man, well, what if this was there? Because what if that was there? Because the guy put the puzzle piece there. Like,
it's not like that. No.
Okay. Okay.
I think you could go to the bathroom in the middle of this film and come back and not feel like you missed a big piece. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you can take a pee break or whatever and come back and you're probably in the same similar spot.
Like this ain't like David Fincher.
Yeah.
Fincher's the David Fincher's movie.
David Fincher, yeah.
7. It's in like 7. Well, the reason why this happened because of this happened because I could put a conspiracy theory together.
Yeah.
Like I'll say, I hate when movies do that sometimes.
Yeah. On another note, we also watched The Killer over the weekend.
Finally watched The Killer, huh?
Yeah. So I don't want to give a full review to it, but I think I liked it.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely liked it. He definitely does. Because when you watch the film, the beginning of the film, he's detailing everything.
Yeah.
He's giving you all
detail
oriented.
It's also a very dry movie.
It is.
So we started on a Saturday night after dinner and like a drink or two.
Mm-hmm.
And I was falling asleep like almost immediately.
Oh yeah,
when it began. I was fighting sleep.
Oh yeah.
And then an hour into it, she was falling asleep. So we both just like, let's just continue this tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And we watched the back half, the next day or whatever. So it's a very dry, kind of slow movie.
I do like the action scene. The action fight scene.
The action was good. Very, very calculated.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the character was calculated. The film was calculated. But it was good. It's definitely a good art film, I think.
Also, did you like that he was an F up?
Oh, I loved it.
He was an F up.
I thought that was, I love that part where it's like he just screws up a job and then it's like, well, I'm going home.
I got heard him get the hell out of here.
Yeah, where it's like, all right, I'm out of here. I'm noping out of this situation. And then everything just kind of unfolds from there.
I was like, this dude,
I thought that was hilarious. I was like, oh, this is great.
He sat there. He gave you this detailed thing that he does, this routine.
Waited for like 5 days.
Ate a hamburger with no buns. Just eating the meat by itself.
Weird stuff.
And then to mess up on that horrific level.
Yeah.
I was like, this guy is trash at his job.
It's almost a comedy in a way when you think about it, and that's in that situation and that terms, like, because he screws up a bunch in this movie.
Does.
He makes a lot of mistakes.
He's a horrible
so it's just person. Like this could almost be a comedy.
Yeah, you're right. But I'm glad you finally saw it. Though.
Yeah, we finally sat down and watched it. It was good. We watched a lot of movies over the weekend. I think we watched like SWAT. Remember SWAT from 2002?
Yeah, Cool J. Yeah.
Yeah, we watched SWAT. We also watched the Lift movie with Kevin Hart.
Tough, man.
That was actually enjoyable.
I just can't think of Kevin Hart as a serious person.
You know what? It worked out really good. I enjoyed seeing Kevin Hart in a role where he's not screaming and running around.
Get ready because Borderlands comes out pretty soon.
I know. But no, he acted really well in Lift. He wasn't even the comedic relief. Like there were some jokes, but it wasn't like, like laugh out loud jokes. Yeah. It was just like little things that were kind of funny here and there. And like it's a heist movie, so you have all the different heist people, and that's always cool. So I enjoyed it a lot more. I really like seeing him in a more serious, not a serious role, but like in a more not so hyperactive.
He's trying. You could tell. I mean, and this kind of goes back to like Martin. Martin, he kind of. I'm not saying that Martin can be serious.
Yeah.
but he can play a dual role. For some reason, he carries this Bad Boys movie. I've got to tell you that. He really does carry this movie. Will Smith takes the backseat to Martin Lawrence for once.
Yeah.
And I don't think Kevin Hart can do what Martin Lawrence can do in Bad Boys.
Right.
And not make it look like comedy.
Well, because he's always like comedic sidekick.
Always comedic sidekick.
Very rarely he's like the main guy. And then,
I don't know how that works. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know either.
I think also too because he's being so short. And I hate to say that, but it's true.
There were some scenes where Khadijah was like, he's standing on a box. He's not the same. He's not the same height as the other person. They got him on a box. Like
he's been trying, man. I'm trying to give him a chance. What's that movie he did with Bryan Cranston, The Upside?
Yeah,
which he completely that movie did not do good.
Yeah,
because I don't know if you know.
It's also a weird pairing.
Well, there's a British version of that film too.
Right, of course.
And the British version is a lot better.
Yeah,
it's a lot serious.
Yeah,
but this Upside was serious too. But yeah, he tried with that. I mean, I think Borderlands, he's supposed to play like another serious character.
Yeah, but Borderlands is also a silly movie in general.
Still a silly movie.
It's not going to work. And I saw something where I guess they like showed like some first footage of the film, like actual like a film scene, and someone's comment was like, "This looks like an SNL sketch." So I haven't confirmed. I don't know. I didn't go look for myself.
Are you gonna watch it?
It depends on. I don't know. It depends.
You played the game before, right?
I played the game a little bit.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not invested in it like that, but it depends.
Sony needs this because Sony been doing good so far. I mean, I think Uncharted did okay, right?
Uncharted did pretty good. I enjoyed it.
I liked it because I never played the game.
Right.
So I didn't.
That's usually how it goes for these things too. It's like if you didn't play the game, you might like it, but if you did play the game, you're probably just going to be annoyed.
Did you like Tomb Raider?
Right. I haven't seen the new ones. No.
Oh, okay.
But I heard those were pretty good too.
Yeah, it was okay. It was exactly like the video game.
Yeah.
A little bit too much like the video
game. Yeah. Maybe that's where they went wrong.
I think that's where they went wrong with that one.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, that's all I got on the plate. Is that all you got?
Yeah, that's all I got, man.
All right.
Good for today.
All right. We made a happy plate today, James. We did.
Yep.
We did a good job.
Answered some voicemail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, again, if you would like to send us a voicemail or an email, you can email us at onthegopod2023@gmail.com. You can also reach out to us on Instagram. It's On The Go with Jacob and James is all one word. You can find James on Instagram at
James9794.
You can also find me on Instagram at jacobdantone.audio. And as always, we are also on YouTube. We have We have episodes coming out every Monday and Friday across YouTube, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. So feel free to like, follow, subscribe, and share, and do all the things you need to do to keep us around. So without further ado, I'm on the go. James is on the go. We're all on the go.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please follow and share the podcast with your friends and family units. If by chance you disliked the episode, then please share the On The Go show with your most hated enemies. Thank you and enjoy your day.